Coming in from Raymond, you just listened to Kwetu right here on 88.2 Sanyo FM, and I'm Crystal. Good afternoon. Joining me on Celeb Select right now, I have the lovely Anita Fabiola, the fabulous Fabiola.
Fabulous Fabiola.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Crystal?
I'm good. Thanks for coming through.
Thank you so much for having me.
How is the weekend? What are the plans for the
Well,
weekend?
it just got started, so I don't know what I'm going to do this weekend.
Mhm.
Yeah, but usually my weekends are just relax, stay in, and yeah, just have a breather.
Okay, have
Yeah.
a breather.
Mhm.
So I guess, one of the things I always do is ask our listeners if they
Yeah.
have questions for you, and there are quite a few that I'll be passing on.
Well, I'm sure there's quite a few.
But as always, we want to know about the little you, where
Yeah.
you were born,
Mhm.
where your village is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I was born on 7th June 1994, and I was born here in Mulago. But my dad is a Muchiga, so I'm a
Okay.
Muchiga from Kabale.
Ah.
Yeah, and then my mom is Randis.
Mhm.
Yeah, but we all live here. So
Mhm.
I've grown up in Tinda till we had to move and go all the way to Gayaza. So that's where I live. I still live with my parents, by the way.
Mhm. You
Yeah.
still live with your
I
parents
do.
now?
Yes, I do. I've always
Wow.
lived with my parents. They can't let me go. My mom once told me, until you get 25, do not tell me about getting an apartment or, moving out, nothing. So,
But
yeah.
I'm guessing your parents are also very flexible then, because
Yes, they
part of
are.
your work
Well,
means
they're
late
ve-
nights
Mhm.
and all of that.
They're very, very understanding. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. And where did you go to school?
Primary, I went to St. Francis in Tinda because, I was living just around the corner. Then my A-level, O-level, I went to St. Lawrence, London
Okay.
College.
Mhm.
Then university, I went to Makerere University, and I was doing mass communication.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mass communication.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the things I was reading is that you were actually like a child model. You started modeling when you were really young.
Yes, I was 12. The thing about
did that
me is,
happen?
like I would grow up watching TV and I would see all these models. And my dad was a photographer then for New Vision. And, he would go away and then bring back pictures at home. I would see all these models. So I would pester him all the time. I want to model, I want to model. So when I was in
Ah.
P7 vacation, he took me to Arapapa. I was 12 years. So that's when I started, modeling, doing fashion shows, runways, magazines, kid magazines. Yeah, so
Okay.
that's when I started.
At 12.
At 12, yeah, so it
Hey,
went
there's
on.
Some people only got to smile for the camera when they were like 20.
No, I've always loved, being in front of the camera or, I wasn't a shy kid at all.
So
But I
you-
became shy when I got older. But yeah, I'm actually shy, Crystal. That's honestly.
You're the first person I've come across who said, "Oh, I wasn't shy when I was young, but now I'm shy."
Yes, I'm not even joking. When I was younger, I was a very, very, very bold kid. Like I wanted to do everything, be everywhere, meet everyone. But the older I got, I actually, realized I'm kind of reserved. Apart from my public persona, the real me is, very shy, very reserved. Yeah.
And yet you're in the limelight. You're out
Exactly.
there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you started modeling pretty early.
Yeah.
You said you went to do mass communication. Was that your plan all along, that you wanted to do mass communication?
No. You know what's funny? You know how it is when you're in school and everyone is like, you know what? I'm going to do medicine. I'm going to do this. So for me, because I did arts, I did history, economics, literature, and art, I wanted to be a lawyer. And the funny thing is, I actually did pre-entry exams at Makerere and I passed them, and they gave me a half scholarship to do law.
Okay.
Yes, but by that time I was already, Miss Uganda, first runner up, and I had all these other things I was doing. So when it was almost time to start school, I changed my mind. I realized I wasn't going to do law, like I didn't want to do it. So I applied for changing course. Then I did mass communication, which had always been like my second choice.
A change in dreams. Well,
Yeah.
if you're listening right now, you want to see what she's wearing. It's like a red leather jacket.
Yes, it's
Well,
bomb.
We're live on Instagram. She wants you to see her jacket. Well, we're
I
live on
do.
Instagram right now. That's Crystal A. Newman. So, how did your parents take the news that you had changed your mind, especially since you'd already got a half a scholarship, half
Yes.
scholarship?
Well, because my mom and dad always knew I had a thing for fashion. I had a thing for TV, and then they were also quite surprised that at university I chose law as my first choice.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and the reason why I honestly didn't want to do like journalism or mass communication is because my dad was a journalist. So I kept saying I don't want to do what my dad did. I want to do my own thing. So eventually, when I changed, my dad was excited. My mom was like, "No, you have to be a lawyer. You can be a model and a lawyer." I'm like, "No, it doesn't work like that." So after eventually they got used to it, and because I explained to them, I told them, with law I have to be there 24/7, and then I have all these other things I'm doing, so I need to balance. I need to be able to balance to work and go to school and not leave the other out. So they understood, and yeah, they were very, very supportive at the end, finally.
At the
Yeah,
end. But
at
there
the
was a
end.
shaky
And,
moment.
oh my goodness, my mom was
not
she was not
happy.
happy. She was like, "You better be a lawyer. You better be a lawyer."
Hey,
Yeah.
the pressure. What about your siblings?
Well, I have a sister and a brother, so I'm the firstborn. Yeah, my sister is doing pharmaceutical science at Must. Then my brother is in S3, so he's at Crown City,
So he's a
St.
baby.
Lawrence. Yeah, so he's the baby. So I'm the big girl at home. I wear the big girl pants at home.
Why do I think you bullied the other two?
Well, no, they actually bully me. Yeah, my sister, you'll be shocked because she's 2 years younger than me. She's actually like the firstborn at home.
Oh.
Yeah, they always tease me saying, you're the firstborn, but you act like you're the lastborn. Yeah. So I love them so much. And yeah, we're a very small family. So in the house, it's just me, my mom, my dad, my sister, and my brother. That's it.
And
yeah.
you're very tight.
We're very, very
You
close.
didn't grow up with like family cousins?
Well,
and-
we would have those, till now we do, like sometimes we have like weekends where we go away to aunties, uncles, or they come over, or we go to our grandparents. But it's always been a very small,
Okay.
yeah.
And
small
what about
family.
going back to Kabale? Do you go often or?
It's been a while, and reason is because most of my family is here. Yeah, so there's really nothing much to go back to, but it's only like some of those holidays where we all decide as a big family, why don't we go back to the family home, and for Christmas, the big holidays. And
Yes.
yeah, so it's one of those things. But it's been years. I think the last time I actually went over there was I think I was in S3. Yes.
I think a visit is due.
Yes, it
Sometime
is.
soon.
It
maybe,
is.
Maybe even Christmas. I'm planting a seed right now. Hope your mom and dad are listening.
I take it.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you for your first request right now.
Yeah.
DJ Khaled, Justin Bieber. I'm the one.
I love that song, Crystal. I love that
Why?
song.
Why? You like dancing to it? Is there something
no,
about
it's first of all, it has like all my favorite people in one song, and then it's just I groove to it. I feel the song, and the lyrics, the words. I love it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, here it is. I'm the one.
I'm the one early morning in the dawn. Know you wanna ride now.
The Sanyu Hit Selector.
It is indeed the hit selector on 88.2 Sanyu FM. I'm Crystal chatting with Anita Fabiola right now on Celeb Select. Now, Anita, you were saying that, you initially wanted to be a lawyer. Then when your life got really busy, Miss Uganda,
Yeah.
you decided, you were going to go with entertainment and mass communication.
Yeah.
Did anyone convince you to run for Miss Uganda? Because that's about the time I met you for the first time.
Yes, I remember. I remember.
Did anyone convince you, or did you decide
No.
on your own?
No, I decided on my own. But the thing about me is I've always been this, very ambitious person. So when I was about 15, that was S3, right? When I was about 15, I decided that I wanted to get into fashion. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I also knew I wanted to do TV, but I didn't know how I would get into it. Because we had, by then teen shows on WBS and different stations. So I knew I wanted to do TV, but then I made a decision when I was 15. I'm like, I'm just going to go for every single pageant, that is available till I get to Miss Uganda, then get to Miss World. So for me, why I went for Miss Uganda is because I wanted to go to Miss World. You know what I mean? So Then I ended up going for, would have these high school, pageants. So I went for Miss London College, which was my school. I won. Then I went for Miss St. Lawrence Schools, which was, all the beauty queens from all the campuses. And I won
Combined.
that. So when I
Uh-huh.
won that, I had to go now for Miss High School, which was like the different high schools in the country. That is Kadanke. That was the first one ever. And I won that. So I won when I was in S6. So in my vacation, that's when I decided, you know what, the next step from here is to just go for Miss Uganda. And I did. And I honestly really badly wanted to win.
You've said that before.
Yes,
Like,
I badly wanted to win because, I had always wanted to go to Miss World. Yeah. But then I didn't win and I was okay with it. I was very happy for Stella and everything because we're friends, and I was comfortable with it because, it came along with other things. So no one convinced me. I just made that decision myself because of all the plans I'd made earlier for my life.
You said that you're a go-getter. You're very
I am.
ambitious.
Oh my
Have you
goodness.
always been like that from
Yes.
the time you were little?
Yeah, that's why I told you, when I got into modeling, it was me, putting my dad on pressure, I need to model. I need this. So he's like, you know what, this kid, okay, for her to just shut up, let me just take her so she can get off my nerves. Yeah, so I've always been like that. I've always, been a dreamer. I've always, planned out things how I want them to be. And some things go the way you want and others do not, but they sort of lead you to another path where you didn't even know you would
Yes.
get. Yes. So
Yeah,
I've always been
sometimes
a
you don't get
go-getter.
exactly what you want,
Yes.
but you end up where you're supposed to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do you
Yeah.
ever write down your dreams?
Of course, even now, like I move with my diary.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so every single night when I go back home, the reason I love being home, and some of my friends call me a loner, is because I love being alone. I love me time because that's the time I get to think, I get to plan, I get to dream and actually write them down. And just recently, I was reading through all my diaries from when I was a little, and I just kept laughing because some of the things I'll be like, wow, like this actually came true.
This happened.
Yeah, so I've always been that kind of person. Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't realize how important it is to actually write down what you want.
It is.
because it pretty much kind of happens later in life.
Yeah,
Okay,
it is.
okay.
It's important because it helps you stay on track with what exactly you want. Because, sometimes when you dream and you're out of that moment, then you won't even remember what it is you are thinking about. But when you write it down and you come back to it to revisit it later, a day later, or even a year later, you remember exactly the reason why you even started out. Yeah.
Okay, a little nugget there. So tell me, I mean, what happened after Miss Uganda? Yes, you didn't win, but
Yeah.
it seemed like after that was like a roller coaster of so many
Yes.
different things happening
Yes.
to you.
Yes. Well, after Miss Uganda, then I got my first TV job, Be My Date, and that was a hit, but I didn't expect that because for me, everything that I did not plan for the fame. I did not plan to be a celebrity. I didn't want that, I just wanted to do what I loved,
Okay.
So when I got my first TV job, Be My Date, I was 19 years old. No one knows that. People thought I was like 25 because of, the way I was handling everything. But then it came with a lot. It came with a lot that I didn't plan for. I'm a free spirit sometimes. So I love to, live my life freely. But I didn't understand that, when you're out there, you now need to, you need to tread, very carefully,
Yes,
So,
yes.
I was living my life. I was 19 years old. I'm at university.
Did they reach out
partying.
to you, or did you go to NTV and audition, or what? How did that work?
Okay, well, the thing is, I went to Agikonde. Yeah. Then I told her I want to do TV because I've always, like I told you, I'm always that person that will call you like 1,000 times till you give me a chance. So I went to her, I'm like, I want to do TV. Can I audition? Is there something I can audition for? Then she said, not really. So what I did, I sat down with my friends and I came up with a show. That was Be My Date. Yeah, I said, how about this? But then I didn't know any production company I could work with. So they did the
You
production.
didn't know how to make it
I didn't know
happen?
how to make it happen, but I knew I wanted to do it. So when I went to them, it was a great idea. Then they gave me production and everything. So I started doing it. And
Did
yeah.
you get some training first?
No.
Eh?
No,
What do you mean?
Let me tell you something.
You went on air the first time?
The first time, and the funny thing is, when I was doing auditions, like everyone was laughing at me, like everyone that was there in the audience. But like, oh my goodness, I was nervous. I didn't know where to buy my next sentence, on TV. It was a mess. But I sort of grew into it, the more I did the show. So I got better with time. So I had no clue how they do TV. I had no clue how to stand, how to position myself, how to talk to people. I was simply being myself. And I was surprised it was, a hit like that. But I was being myself.
Well, I think also because of the guests that you had. I mean, I really have to ask.
They were.
How did you get people
wow.
to participate?
Now,
I'm sorry, I watched a couple of shows. I'm like, wow.
Now you see, like, everyone's reaction. That's the reaction I'd have on set. I'll be like, no, God, no. but but the thing is, like, it kept me entertained. So they would write into us on Facebook. I want to take part. So would have, would call them up, then sort of audition them and see who is better than the other in terms of, stage presence or speech or, presenting themselves. So when we did that, we'd get the best we could, and then bring them on. And it was very realistic. Some people thought, we were like maybe paying people. That wasn't true. People would come in, and others just wanted to see me.
They genuinely wanted to be part of it.
Yes, they did. And it was amazing. It was amazing the turnout, because certain days would have hundreds of people. And then we'd have to schedule them for this week, next week,
For
like
later
that.
shows.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you. Well, coming back to Be My Date, but I'm going to ask you for your second request right now.
Oh, my second request. I love this song, Dance. Dance by Timaya. Yes. And it's a weekend, so
It's a weekend song.
Yeah,
Another one you can groove to.
yes, that's my song. That's
All
my
right.
song.
Timaya, dance. Today I have Anita Fabiola. Now we were talking about Be My Date, and I was saying your hips made a debut.
They
Suddenly
sure
Uganda
did.
were like, oh my goodness.
They sure did. They did. And I had no clue till I was about 8 months in. Yeah, I had no clue that people were actually, because by then I wasn't even on Twitter or, and I wasn't so huge on social media. So I had no clue that, every single Sunday there's people that would actually sit to be like, have they grown bigger? Are they smaller? Are they, is she wearing fake pads or whatever?
That was a thing for quite
Yes,
some time.
yes.
Really?
Oh my God.
And-
yeah,
and-
that's how I was. I was like, really? Stop.
Well, Be My Date I remember it used to trend every Sunday on
Yes,
Twitter.
yes.
For all kinds of reasons. So how long were you on Be My Date?
I was on Be My Date for about a year and a few months.
Okay.
Yes.
And then why did you leave?
Well, I left. I had to resign after my pictures got leaked on social media. So I was given an option, actually, to either resign or to be fired. Yes. So I had to, throw in the towel.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that must have been very difficult.
Oh, it was, Crystal. You have no idea, because, for a few months, actually before the pictures leaked, I'd been struggling with blackmail, I'd been blackmailed for like millions of money. Every single week they'd ask me for, 2 million, 2 million, 2 million, so they don't leak them. And the mistake I made, looking back right now, is I did not tell anybody, because it's something I wanted to just bury,
So
It's-
you looked for the money and you paid
yes,
them.
and I would pay them and be like, are we done now? Then would be done. Then 3 weeks later, they call me again. So for me, I didn't tell anybody, because I just didn't want anybody to even hear about something like that. It was so traumatizing. So eventually, when, I thought we were done, I'd paid them off. And, there's actually like a whole story behind it, because I had to involve a CID person who was given to me by my boss
Okay.
at NTV. Yes, Aggie Konde. She gave me somebody to work with. She's the only person that knew about what was going on. So she gave me that guy to work with, and eventually, I don't know if he was working with the people that were blackmailing me. I don't understand what went on behind the scenes. So I relaxed for about a month. Then I was on my way from Nairobi. I just landed, actually. Then when I switched on my phone, it was buzzing like crazy. I just
Yes.
knew.
Yes.
I knew. I didn't even bother asking.
You knew
like,
straight away
Yeah,
what
I
it
knew. I'm
was.
like, okay.
You know the funny thing about like nude pictures
Yeah.
leaking, a lot of people tend to think that some women actually do it intentionally.
Yeah.
Which I think is very hurtful because I don't really think you
No,
want
no,
your
no. It's
naked pictures
very
out
no. It's
there.
very absurd that somebody would think that a woman would want the whole world
Well,
to
there's
see
Kim
her body.
Kardashian in this world.
Well, no, the thing is maybe she embraced it differently, but I'm an African girl. You know, I have parents, I have family, I have siblings that look up to me. You know, I have dreams, I have goals. So you do not want the whole world to see your body like that, naked, just like that. And, you know, especially if you've been fighting it and then people just come to throw stones at you and not throw stones at the person who's actually publishing the pictures. You see.
Was your phone, did they get them off your phone, or was it someone who?
Yeah. Unfortunately, it was somebody I'd been dating, you know, and then, you know, eventually when things don't work out and they try to ask you back and you don't, they feel like they can teach you a lesson. And that was very, very sad. But I forgave him, you know. I had the option of, you know, taking him to court or whatever. But that is something I wanted to bury. You know what I mean? Like, it's something you don't want to revisit over and over, and you just want to let it go so you can move on and breathe. So for me, luckily, I'm not the person who will stop and throw stones at everyone that backs at me. I will move on, and whoever, you know, joins me, good enough. Whoever feels like they want to judge and say whatever, if they don't understand the real story, I'm very, very okay with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
but it
was
was
it
a very, very
difficult
it was a
time?
difficult time. Yeah.
I'm so sorry about that. I mean,
Yeah.
I,
And
like
for me,
you said,
honestly, the hardest part was not even the pictures being out there because I knew I'd done my best to make sure they're not out there. The hardest part for me was having to leave my job that I loved so much that I'd built. You know, that was the hard part.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
was like, not this. You know, you knew about it. Like my bosses knew about it. The least I would expect is for you to stand with me right now. Let's deal with it. And then, you know, you can also do whatever at the end of the day. So for me, that was the
but
hard part.
unfortunately, you have like your terms in your contract, and
Yeah.
sometimes you have to honor that. I mean, what's your
Exactly.
advice? Because a lot of young women, I mean,
Yes.
let's just be honest. When you're in love, also you do a lot of things.
Oh my
You
goodness,
do
you're
a lot of-
crazy. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
but a lot of young women are definitely taking nudes and sharing nudes, especially with social media right now on Snapchat and all of that.
Yeah.
Now, coming from, you know, that experience, what's your advice?
Well, my advice to the girls, honestly, is for me, okay, looking back, is if I'd loved myself more than I loved the person I was with at that time or put myself first, I would not make sudden mistakes. So to the girls, I just feel like you need to put yourself first. Love yourself. Think forward, you know, do not live so much in the moment and feel like this is it because there's a whole world out there. What if things don't work out like they didn't for me and then the person had to do that to me? So think about yourself, think about your goals. So it's me telling them to put yourself first, focus on your goals first. If it doesn't add anything to your long-term plan, do not do it.
Okay.
Yes, do
All
not
right.
do it. Yeah.
Okay, so after that, what happened in your life next? What was your next step?
Yeah, well, of course, you know, I had a few friends that were there for me. I had others that just disappeared. You know how it is. That's life. So for me, it was figuring out my next step, honestly, because I'd lived that show. I loved it. I'd built it. It had become a hit. It was making so much money. So I was figuring out, so what do I do now? Because I wasn't really doing anything else apart from the show and school. So then I got onto radio. Then I also, honestly, did a little dating. I dated somebody that I honestly truly regret dating. You know, you know what I mean?
Is that name in the book? You're like,
yeah,
God,
you're
if I
like,
could just
why?
Why?
Yeah. So but it's part of the story. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like I always say, for me,
Why
like,
do you regret it? Let's
I
discuss
regret it
why.
because it was in a moment where I should have first taken time to heal.
Okay.
And not get with somebody to distract me from my reality. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So that is why, because I feel like if I'd taken time to understand what was going on, how I can recover from this without just jumping into a relationship, so I do not focus on exactly what is going on now, then, you know, you make wrong decisions when you're, you know, at certain times in your life. So
And even when you're young.
even,
okay?
yeah. And
Better now. Better when you're young than when you're
yes,
older.
and you know, like for me, people have always thought I was like 28 or maybe 30. But listen, I'm as a young girl, you know, like
Yeah,
learning, living, and everything. But then, yeah, so I got onto radio shortly with Capital. Then, yeah, so basically, I was just trying to make a comeback, and I did. Yeah, so I just started, you know, producing shows. that was actually a year later, not even because my pictures were in 2015. Yeah, so 2016, I just decided to focus, put dating aside, stop that. Little girl, Anita, focus, baby
Let the
girl.
man go.
Focus, baby girl. Yeah, so I had to just focus and realize what it is I really wanted out of life. Forgive myself. I truly forgave myself and forgave everybody that did that, and just decided to look ahead. I mean, the future is bright.
Okay, okay, positive.
Yes, I love life.
So now, your next request, an APA song.
Mariana. I love that song.
Why?
I love it. I don't know. There's something soothing about it.
It is a hit selector on 88.2 Sanyo FM, and I'm having a good time right now with Anita Fabiola on Celeb Select.
Yeah, me too.
You said, I'm happy to hear that. Now, you said that you decided to, get serious about work and your next step. So
Yeah.
what have you been up to? Because it seems like a lot is happening in your life.
Yes, I'm glad a lot is happening because when you're a person that is goal oriented, you don't settle. You're sort of very, very sad or very. You're not happy if there's nothing.
If something is
yeah,
not happening.
If it's not happening. So I love making things happen. So my goal, beginning of 2016, was now that the biggest station has done this to me, I need to get a bigger station. I'm not going below that. So I did auditions, I went for meetings, I had to fly in and out of the country, and then I got with Africa Magic. So I was given a contract, and I was doing live red carpet broadcasts on different red carpet shows around the continent and everything. So I started producing as well, so I've been up to a lot. And then
And then
now
you started acting too.
I started acting as well, but I'd been acting even when I was doing Be My Date, but it was on NTV as well. So then recently I was signed to Talent Africa, so they're my official, booking agency and everything. So we're also working on a lot of stuff. Very exciting.
I see you started a foundation.
Yes. Fab Girls Foundation. It's actually an NGO. Fab Girls. Yes.
Fab Girls.
So who is the Fab Girl? A Fab Girl is a girl that wants to do something with her life. A girl that dreams of doing something with her life. A girl that wants to be confident in who she is. A girl that, despite, all criticism or whatever the world throws at her, she will still rise up and do what she has to do. So that is the Fab Girl. So that is the foundation I started, and this is to empower girls like me, young girls that have dreams and everything, but somehow the world will not let them be great, but they will still be great. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I've decided to partner with a few people, and I'll release details of that very, very soon. The launch is also very soon. So I'm working with huge organizations, and we're trying to help the next girl, because they say educate a girl, educate a nation, whatever. Yes. So, and I'm very passionate about this because, my story has helped a lot of young girls. There's so many girls that come to me and they're like, I love your strength. Because of your strength, I can be strong in whatever I'm going through. Yes.
Okay. And second chance.
Yeah.
Why did you leave?
Well, I left Second Chance. I started Second Chance because, I love acting, first of all. And then I had a few months where I was going to be around, like in the country and everything. So they came to me, they're like, do you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, sure. So we discussed and negotiated and everything, and it was perfect. But then months in, my schedule did not permit me. Yes.
Okay.
So I had to, when I'm around, even if it's for 4 days, I would shoot. And then I'm away for a few days again. And then maybe they need me, emergency shoots. And so it wasn't working out.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had to, talk to them. I'm like, can I, do this? Can I focus on one thing? Because I don't want to let the project down. It's something I believe in. It's something I love. Everyone is putting in their best. Everyone is working so hard to make it work. I don't want to be the one person who's lagging the team behind. So I had to quit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you were to describe yourself,
Yeah.
who is Anita Fabiola?
Who is Anita Fabiola? Anita Fabiola is like the sweetest human being you'll ever meet. Kind, very friendly, very shy, also very determined, very ambitious, very hardworking. When I want to do something, I will do it, no matter what. And yeah, I'm very loving. Like I'm such a lover. I hate that sometimes, but I'm such a
She
lover.
said it.
Yes, yeah. So that is Anita. I'm very
So is
Yeah.
is the lover Anita dating at the moment? Because you said you went through that phase where you're like, no men.
like I'm over it.
But right now,
No, I'm not dating anyone.
you're not seeing anyone.
No, I'm not. And
Okay.
I'm not looking at dating anyone.
I think you might
Not
be
not
breaking
anytime
a few
soon.
hearts.
Yeah, not anytime soon. Like I'm over it. Like I'm over it. Like when I say I'm over it, Krista, I'm over it. I've
No more
dated, I'm like,
starry-eyed.
yeah, like no, I'm over it. But you know, like it's funny. Sometimes I'll be like on Twitter and I'll see a story about myself, like she's dating who, and I'm like, I've never even met this person. Like what? Yeah,
I
so
mean,
I'm not dating anyone.
Wasn't there a recent story of some Nigerian?
Deband?
Yeah.
Yeah, we dated. Yeah, but
and,
we're friends. We're very, very good friends at the end
Okay.
of the day. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Well, I guess for many people they're like, yes, but she's not looking.
I'm not looking. I'm sorry. We can be friends though.
Okay.
Yeah, friend zoning. Right now I'm just friend zoning, family zoning everybody.
You heard. Okay,
Yeah.
so what can we look forward to? I mean, apart from your foundation. That's
I'm
true.
filming an online show. It's called Up Close with Fabiola. So you will get to see different sides of me, you know, because I realize people don't really know me apart from what they read or, you know, whatever. They don't really know me. So it's a chance for me to actually connect with the people that love me, the people that have worked with me, to see what I go through on a day to day, whether it's, you know, my family or what I do when I'm free. And then I'll also be doing a few intimate interviews with, you know, like people's favorite people, you know, just getting to know people in depth. Yeah,
Okay.
beyond the
Alright.
surface.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on Celeb Select.
Thank you
I had
so
a
much
good
for having
time.
me.
Great time with
It's been
you.
so much fun.
Yes. And
has.
your last song. Tell me about this song.
Conqueror.
Yeah.
Yeah, this song really, really defines where I am.
Merry-go-round, you're up and then down, going in circles, trying